It's time to review Sonic Unleashed for the PlayStation 2. Before I start, let me say that this is a requested review by Shellshock638, so thanks for the request, Shellshock. Released back in 2008, Sonic Unleashed was the first step in trying to fix the Sonic series after the unmitigated disaster that was Sonic 06. Doing its best to fix many problems fans had had with the games at the time, Unleashed was seen by many as a step in the right direction for 3D Sonic games, though not everything was well liked. However, today we're tackling the PS2 Wii port of the same name developed by Dimps, the developer of every handheld Sonic platformer since Pocket Adventure back in '99, and Sonic Team. The reviews at the time favored this port over the PS360 versions, though general fan reaction has it the other way around, with only a few people actually preferring this version. Nearly 5 years later, how well does this port hold up on its own? Well, let's find out. The story of Unleashed is that after a particularly brutal battle against Dr. Robotnik, our main hero has gotten a case of lysantrophy, meaning that he turns into a wolf hedgehog thing whenever the sun goes down, and the world has been split into 7 pieces. The only way to restore the planet to normal and cure Sonic's werewolfism is to restore the energy of the Chaos Emeralds through the Chaos Emerald Temples. Aided by Tails and a new annoying friend called Chip, Sonic travels across the world to restore the emeralds and stop the evil scientist's plan to take over the world. Sonic Unleashed is a 3D platformer with 2 different gameplay types: day stages where you go through fast-paced, speedy platforming as the Blue Blur, and night stages where you tackle more platform and fighting-centric stages as Were Sonic. In the day stages, you jump with X, perform the homing attack by pressing X in the air, activate boost by pressing circle, slide by holding square while running, and can quick step from left to right by pressing L1 and R1. While in the night stages, you jump and double jump with X, attack enemies with square and circle, grab things, be it objects, enemies, special platforms, or ledges by pressing and holding R1, you guard attacks by holding L1, and can use special attacks mid-combo a la Dynasty Warriors Muso attacks by pressing triangle. The general goal of the game is to get to the goal ring at the end of each level, with you getting a better rank depending on what goals you accomplish during the night and day levels, such as collecting a certain amount of rings or completing it under a certain time limit. Throughout the game, you'll have to visit many countries across the world and explore the towns and talk to people in order to find out your next objective and to find the Gaia Gates, where you can access the levels of each region. In the Gaia Gates, there are also doors that can be unlocked by collecting a certain amount of Sun and Moon levels, which are collected by earning good ranks and completing challenges. However, unlike the PS360 versions, the medals aren't necessary to beating the game. They only serve as a way of collecting little bonuses and extra lives. Speaking of which, in hidden areas throughout each level, you can collect capsules that unlock bonus content such as music tracks, concept art, cutscenes, and more. Now, before I get onto the flaws of the game on its own, I should mention a rather big negative difference from the HD version, mainly that there's a fair amount of content missing. What I mean by this is that there are levels from the HD version that are nowhere to be seen in this game. For example, you can only fight the boss in Missouri. There are no night or day levels to speak of whatsoever, and more particularly, the entirety of Empire City is wiped out from the face of the game. No hub worlds, no Gaia Gate, no tracks, nothing is there. I'm not sure why this is the case, but it is pretty annoying seeing that there's less levels in the next-gen versions, especially in the daytime department. Speaking of which, that's the first big problem that comes to mind with this port. While the night levels aren't bad, the division between them and the day levels is embarrassingly unbalanced. In each region, there's only 1 day level and about 3 or 4 night levels, which is pretty insane as you only end up with about 6 or 7 Sonic levels, and triple, maybe quadruple that for Were Sonic, which is a bit much, especially for anyone who doesn't like those stages. Another problem is that some of the challenges in Eggman Land's day stage in particular are actually damn difficult. They're not Battletoads insanely hard, but they are damn tough levels to play through, especially for inexperienced or younger gamers. I understand that games are supposed to get harder as they go on, but even so, some of these are just plain nightmares to try and beat. However, probably the biggest problem I have with the port of Unleashed is that the game is simply packed to the brim with time-wasting filler, and I don't mean the Were Sonic levels at all. From the thousands of pointless tutorial missions at the beginning of the game, to roaming around towns to talk to people, to being forced to do at least 4 or 5 challenges for the day stages near the end of the game. There's a hilariously insane amount of things that serve absolutely no purpose whatsoever that could have been cut to make the game a much smoother, more fun affair. Or at least let there be enough room to get more regions in there. Now, despite all this, I have to admit that Unleashed for the PS2 is actually quite good. First of all, while they aren't as good as the Wii version, the where Sonic model is astonishingly ugly, the graphics for the most part are actually pretty good. The environments are colorful and well made, the character animations are smooth and consistent, and most importantly for a Sonic game, the frame rate rarely, if ever, drops below 30 frames per second. The story, for what it's worth, is also pretty decent. It's about as ludicrous as the plots for most early 3D Sonics, but it takes itself less seriously this time around, which helps massively, and the English acting courtesy of 4Kids is actually pretty good and improved over the last few games, with Pete Capella's Chip being the only really annoying voice out of the entire cast. The gameplay is also pretty good. The daytime stages are very good with various routes to take, a number of exciting set pieces, and having very solid gameplay mechanics and controls for when you're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The Warthog stages are also pretty decent as well, mainly because they're not as long as the ones in the HD versions, and there's a satisfyingly cathartic feeling when you're beating the crud out of hundreds of enemies. As well as this, there's a lot to keep you coming back to the game. Trying to collect all the bonus capsules in each level, earning enough medals to open up the doors in the Gaia Gates to find what treasures lie inside, and trying to complete as many challenges as you can, meaning that there's a lot of content to willingly sink your teeth into, unlike the aforementioned filler. However, the best thing about this game is its music, which is freaking amazing. The approach taken with the music for Unleashed is less focused on the rock jam scene in previous 3D Sonics, and it goes for a larger variety of genres, from jazz to Arabic to orchestral and more. And honestly, it's the best music I've ever heard in any Sonic game, with the possible exception of Generations. They're very memorable and catchy, they're awesome to listen to in any context, and some of them are some of the most beautiful tracks I've ever heard in gaming, period. In fact, I would actually recommend Unleashed on just its soundtrack alone so you can go out and listen to them, they're that bloody brilliant. Sonic Unleashed PS2 Edition is a damn good game with pretty good graphics, very good day stages, decent night levels, lots of content and bonus extras, a decent plot and acting, and the best Sonic OST hands down. However, it's let down by removed content from the next-gen version, some bloody difficult stages, a very unbalanced night and day stage ratio, and tons upon tons of filler. If you're a fan of Sonic's recent games, 3D platformers, or Sonic in general, I recommend that you get this game. Sonic Unleashed gets a rating of damn solid, meaning a pretty damn good game with a few really good aspects and a few awful ones. I'm FarDugan1000, and I hope you enjoyed watching this review. Until we meet again, have a great day, y'all.
Not a bad toy, but playtime's over, pal.